Welcome to another edition of Inside EKU Sports. We're going to begin by talking Colonel football with Mark Elder. Eastern coming off two very competitive games against FBS teams in the state. Close losses to Kentucky and Western Kentucky. I know you want to clean up mistakes, but you got to be proud of the way your football team competed in those two games.
Yeah, I'm really proud of how the guys competed. They went into a couple big stages and performed at a fairly fairly high level. The stages weren't too big. They weren't intimidated. There was a lot of belief in the locker room, in themselves, and in the guys that are right and their left, which is what you want to see. So obviously both games we're disappointed with the outcome because we weren't going to have great showings. We weren't going to be competitive. We were going to win the game. And there was a belief that we could, that we would, and when we didn't, it was disappointing. But in both games, we were very competitive against two very good teams. I mean, again, Western won their conference last year. Kentucky's got a ton of people back from a very successful season last year, one of the better teams Kentucky's probably had in the last 25 years. So feel good that we were very, very competitive. Both games came down to the fourth quarter, and obviously in this last one, we have the ball with 4 minutes to go, down one score. So we're legit in that game. So I was proud of the guys' effort, the belief in themselves, the systems, the guys that are right and left, and promising things. But we've got to clean some things up to win games. We got to play better than what we have down the stretch in critical moments and clean up mistakes.
The thing I like so far is you didn't know you had a young defensive line. Your offensive line, that's a work in progress. 7 sacks made, only 2 given up so far this year. That really is a good harbinger for things to come.
Absolutely. So talking about our offensive line, giving up 2 sacks, we had a couple more hits on the quarterback this past week than we did the week before. I mean, they really did a good job protecting him in week 1. This past week, only 1 sack, a couple hits, but we've been able to protect our quarterbacks, and that's huge because we need to be a balanced offense. We need to be able to run the ball and throw the football, and particularly this past week, we knew we were going to throw the ball more than we were going to run the ball. Just schematically how they were with the number of people in the box and as physical as they were up front, we needed to be able to protect him as well to be able to throw the ball effectively. So very proud of our offensive line, how they've been doing. That's been great to see. Our defensive line, we've got some, particularly inside, we're green. We're not super experienced with only 1 start amongst the D tackles and not a whole bunch of playing time coming into the season. We had Aaron Patrick back, who's a very good pass rusher. We're anticipating him creating pressure like he has. Luter's a guy that we've been expecting to have a great year for us because this is his 2nd year playing defensive end. Previous to that, he was a linebacker, didn't play football the year before he came last year. So we were anticipating him taking that step because we'd seen that in spring, we'd seen that in fall camp, and it's great to see him doing that. Quan Evans creating pressure. Some of our linebackers on blitzes have done a really nice job getting home. So we've done a good job of attacking the quarterbacks and making them uncomfortable. We got to do a little better job of not allowing a scrambler like their quarterback getting out of the pocket. That hurt us a couple times on some critical downs, but by and large, I've been pleased with both sides of the ball, line of scrimmage and pass pro. We got to get a little bit better defending the run. They exploited us a little bit, and we got to do a little bit better job of running the football offensively as well.
We've seen the 2 quarterbacks. Austin Scott had a good game in his series, 7 of 8 against Kentucky. Tim Boyle, a good body of work. You have both Nico Creamer and Ryan Marcouche making good catches. Now it comes to an off week before you play. No game this Saturday, and then Tennessee Tech on September 23rd. So all that said, is it September 23rd? September 23rd. 23rd. I've got to check my calendar there. So what are you doing in between? I mean, get healthy, work on some execution things. Things change a little bit because it's not a game week yet.
Sure. Well, as a staff, we're starting our preparation for Tennessee Tech right now. So as a staff, that's what we're doing. This week is like a normal week. We're going as if we're playing Saturday. So we're full-fledged preparing for Tennessee Tech. With our players, we're not going to do 2 full weeks of install with them as far as watching the film and so forth. I think that can just get a little bit old for the guys. So we are going to do really start showing the film a great deal next week. Now we're going to install some things. If there's a couple plays, new plays that we want to run, and a couple packages that we want to run, we'll start installing that stuff this week, but just not really getting ahead, talking personnel, and getting too much into what Tennessee Tech is doing with our players. But so we're going to work on a couple of those new installs, a couple new wrinkles that we want to show, but then really clean up some of the mistakes that we've been making and focusing on a lot of us. It's going to be a lot more of focusing on what we need to do with some install on some of the wrinkle stuff that we want to do specifically for Tennessee Tech.
I'm pumped up for the OVC season. I bet the kids are ready to go too in conference play.
Absolutely. Well, we're excited for Tennessee Tech. It's one at a time. You can't look at the big picture. It doesn't matter, because all you can control is the controllables, and that's the next game. So our focus solely is on preparing ourselves to be the best that we can be on September 23rd for that outing, to put the best performance on the field and play an A game for us on that day. We'll worry about the big picture at the end of the season.
Okay, Mark, good luck. I don't know. I would tell a coach to enjoy the off week, but there is no off week for coaches, right?
No, there's really not much of we'll get a little bit more time on Saturday for family time, which will be good. But no, this is 100% focused, locked in on preparing our team to win, and anything that we're doing away from that, we're getting a little recruiting time, which is good. But it's focused on getting that first win, which we need.
All right, thanks, Coach. Again, it will be Tennessee Tech in the home opener September 23rd, 6 o'clock start at Roy Kidd Stadium. And speaking of the legendary coach, the statue honoring him in the north end zone will be unveiled that day. Public viewing begins at 3 o'clock. We'll see you out at the stadium. Coming up on Inside EKU Sports, we'll check in with the cross-country teams. They're coming off big wins over the weekend. But first, a look at how the regional campuses of EKU are keeping students connected with their local communities.
Every day is a concept that few people can commit to. Every day requires a level of dedication that forces you to test your limits.
Every day I'll give back to the community because I draw strength from their support. Every day the sounds of your cheers will echo through my mind. Knowing that you have my back means I can always look forward.
Every day I'll be too tired to sweat and my bones will ache. Every day will provide me with the slight edge that I need to succeed. Champions are built every day.
We are more than just athletes. We inspire scholars. We inspire leaders. We inspire champions. We inspire family. This is the Ohio Valley Conference.
So on my calculator, I type in natural log of 1. Make sure you do not confuse natural log with common log.
Too often, a lot of students feel like they have to drive to Richmond to get that in-person feel. But with ePresence, the students at regional campuses are able to talk to me at the same time traditional students are. ePresence is a technological component that combines Richmond's campuses with Danville, Corbin, and Manchester. Basically what happens is I can teach all of those students at the same time from their locations. With ePresence, not only do I do lectures, but I can also show worksheets, I can show videos in real time, and everybody at all campuses can see the same thing. And I'm able to direct students in each campus by calling on their selective campuses and asking them questions and responses.
Either Corbin or Danville, what did you get for this part here? What is your exponential form?
Well, there are facilitators at all of the regional campuses that I work with. I send them the PowerPoint notes. Any worksheets I'm going to do, I send that to them ahead of time. They are sent the exams directly from the math department, and they collect them and courier them to me, but they also scan them to me so that I can have them faster, and I love that. Students that are currently enrolled in ePresence classes as well as facilitators can access this course in classes. However, if you happen to be away from class, students can also access the course via the Pixip app. That will give them access from home and also from a mobile device. Our students are going to want to go to the next level. ePresence is the next level. And if a student were apprehensive, I would encourage them to sign up for my ePresence class.
Welcome back to Inside EKU Sports. Going to talk cross country now with head coach Rick Erdman. Both the men and women won the Bluegrass Invitational last weekend, including a field that had Kentucky in it. Good wins, and both teams moving up in the Southeast region rankings. Now I think the women 4th and men 5th.
Yes, that's correct. And anytime we'd like to beat Kentucky.
And you did, and you've done that consistently. Now 38 years for you, Rick, in cross country and track here at EKU. And I know the women, you've got to be awful proud of them, led by Australian junior Charlotte Emmer. She's been really running well. Yeah,
she's a highly motivated young woman that's trains very hard and has become very competitive as she's developed, and I'll give her a lot of credit. She's an All-American in track and field, an All-American in cross country, and I think she's going to have her best season with everything going as we move along this season, and but very motivated. That's her key to success.
She loves to run. I mean, she doesn't see it as a job. I mean, I can sense when we had her on the show last year.
Yes, very motivated and very intense, and wants to be the best she can be.
You have other runners that have done very well on the women's side, Luisha Boskin, Kira Scott, who's from Bowling Green, and also Gladys Chariot as well, and they all did well in the Invitational over in Lexington.
Yeah, we actually are trying to get Kira Scott's from Bowling Green, and her mother was an outstanding runner at Western Kentucky, and then we have a young lady by the name of Haley Yost, who's from Eastern Pennsylvania, who was a all-region last year, an academic All-American, who has got to be a factor in this whole thing. She hasn't run yet. She's had some slight injury problems, but we're looking forward to her competing in the next few meets.
On the men's side, one of your athletes, Jermaine Coleman, I watched him in the regionals over in Lexington qualify for the NCAA Nationals in the steeplechase, but he's running cross country, and he did very well in the meet over in Lexington as well.
Yes, he's come a long way. I mean, if you'd have seen him a few years ago, he's just done an amazing job academically and athletically. He was an academic All-American and an All-American both, and so we're very pleased to see his progress. And we have a lot of new people with the men, and we'll just have to wait and see, you know, how it develops. But we have the potential to be competitive at a pretty high level, I think.
Two-time OVC Runner of the Year, Eric Rodich, is on your team as well, and so when you have that title, then there's a lot of pressure to keep performing at that level.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, some of the teams in the OVC, I think Belmont sort of, they redshirted a lot of guys last year, and they're out to get us. And in the women's side, Southeast Missouri looks very competitive. They beat Illinois a couple weeks ago, and but no, with our men, it's going to be interesting to see how it develops. And we lost 3 all-region runners last year, and but Eric has the potential to be very good. Jermaine, we have Jacob Abramson, ran 13:52 in the 5K 2 years ago, and so we have the potential, and we have some other guys that need to step up. We have a freshman from Maumee, Ohio, and Zach Stewart, and we're looking forward to see how it develops.
Cross country, of course, run over a course, not on the track. How is it different as a sport in running versus, let's say, running a 5 or 10K on a track? Is it a completely different discipline?
Well, it's a team, it's a team sport, and you can have individuals like Charlotte and a person out leading, but the key is how close you can keep your top 7 runners or top 8 runners together, and that'll be our goal. Charlotte's obviously our #1 runner at this point, and we've got to try and get closer to her, and if we can cut it down to 30 seconds, who knows, that's the kind of team that can get to the Nationals, although it's very difficult to get to the Nationals because they only take 31 teams as opposed to 60 some in the other sports. But the key is a team concept in cross country, where track's sort of individualistic, where you're out there on the track by yourself competing against the other runners. And
yeah, I think we both cycle. It's kind of like cycling in a way. I mean,
yes,
you work for a team. You have, in cycling, you call it the domestiques at times.
Right,
that
very similar. Yeah, you have. Yeah, it's but that's right now. We're just trying to work on the different aspects to get everybody in as good a shape as we possibly can, and get them as close together as we possibly can.
The OVC championships are when, and then we head towards the Nationals.
Yeah, they're the end
that.
of October at Eastern Illinois. It's not one of my favorite courses, but it's an easy course. And then we go to Virginia, which is a very challenging course, very hilly, very awkward to run on. And that'll be 10K for the guys and 6K for the women. So that'll be a little different venue than we're used to.
Okay.
And but that's you know, hopefully win the OVC's our first goal, and then get to the regional, and who knows.
All right, good luck for the rest of the year. We'll catch up with you later this year, see how, I always like to call them the Harriers. That's a term that started over in England, but it's accurate, right?
Yeah, very accurate.
All right,
yeah, very
all right. Good luck to the EKU Harriers, and we hope you've enjoyed another edition of Inside EKU Sports. Don't forget you can follow EKU Sports wherever you are. Like and follow our channels on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We'll see you again next week right here on Inside EKU Sports.